Well, first, you must understand what is poverty. Poverty, from my definition, simply means living below your minimum wage, minimum earning. Today, Nigerian public servant, the civil servant, simply called, are earning 30,000 naira as minimum wage. Look at the economy. Look at the expenses of the civil of Nigerians vis-a-vis the earning. You will now see that Nigerians are living above their minimum wage, above their earning. If you are using the civil servant as the benchmark to define minimum wage, to define poverty. Now let's go beyond that. Poverty is the inability to feed yourself, and if you are a breadwinner, to feed your family and your dependents. Simply means you are poor. That is why today, because of the harsh economy in Nigeria, we now hear or have what we now call poorest of the poor. So it therefore means that there are people who are even poorer than even the poor today in Nigeria. While discussing with your colleague, when we were discussing the other International Day Against Violence Against Journalists, I did mention that today Nigerians are practically living from refuse dump, becoming scavengers, scavenging from food. I also mentioned that I read a report online, though unverified, where a boy killed the mom, allegedly, because of food. This is the benchmark of poverty. We've reached the apex where human being can become carnivorous, can also eat fellow human being because of lack of food. We've become the Stone Age era, where we can now be feeding from fellow humans. We can also, you see, the high rate of crime also go a long way to tell you the poverty range in a particular community. Look at the level of crime. The level of crime is very high in Nigerian context now. I'm not using the word, Nigerian context. The level of crime is high. The level of women that are into forced labor, into underage pregnancy, underage children who are forced into labor, who are being sexually molested and the rest, is also high. So you could now see that poverty has become so real in our faces that you cannot even hide. I went for an advocacy in a community, and we were educating the girl child. Surprisingly, out of 70% of the girl child that came for that awareness, they were underage, and most of them had children, 3, 4, 5. And the HIV/AIDS level becomes so high in the community. And I made my research to find out why we have that high level of incident in that community. And I was told that it is poverty. The girl child is deceived by giving maybe 1,000 naira. That for them is huge. Maybe 500 naira, that for them is huge. And they are misled into, being pregnant and having children. HIV is also very high. So what are we saying? What we are saying is that poverty is very high in Nigeria. And I recall a particular research that ranked Nigeria as the capital center, Nigeria as the capital, world capital of poverty. Is yet to be debunked. That was under the past government of President Muhammadu Buhari. That report, Nigeria has yet to broken that report. So it is very sad that today we are discussing poverty in the midst of plenty. Have you considered the waste in government? Have you considered the waste in the homes of the mighty, the ones you can call mighty? People are dying. I don't want to begin to mention names of public officers who have abused public funds. Their children are using private jets of government to social events that has no connectivity with government event. Their children are cruising in public vehicle, in the cars of the official vehicles of their parents, and most of them, their children are schooling in abroad. They don't even know what is happening. So poverty level in the country is high, and I'm happy that today we are celebrating, we are creating an awareness and marking today as a day to eradicate poverty. But how do we go about it? The question is how. I would prefer just simple solution. My solution will be, let's start from bottom top approach. Let's start from the bottom. The government that is in power should begin to take pragmatic action and steps towards eradicating poverty in the rural communities. Poverty, today we are in town, we are in the cities. Have you traveled beyond the cities to see what is happening in the rural? I just to give you an instance of what happened in the community where I went for an advocacy, event. Go beyond the capital, you will see that there is hunger and there is poverty, and people are actually dying. So the government in power should begin to take actions deliberately towards eradicating poverty from the rural communities. And these actions are, number one, create employment. Number two, boost the agricultural sector. Number three, let the health sector be developed. Education should be, sector should be developed. Rural roads network should be developed, should be built. And when this is done, I traveled from Akwa Ibom, for instance, to Cross River State a month ago. From Calabar to highway, down to Odupani, down to Calabar, the road was unmotorable. Now, the whole of the stretch of that road, people are living in both flanks of the road, but no single business is found on either of this road. Imagine that this road is dualized. You could see shops, you will see stores, you will see people selling fruit, mango, corn, tomato, and all those on the flanks of the road. And this is also going to boost the economy of those communities. But from Calabar to highway to Odupani to Calabar, main town, the whole of the stretch of the road is unmotorable. So a journey of 45 minutes took me 4 hours. I just came back last week from Port Harcourt. When you cross the Horicon Bridge and enter One Trailer Park, from there down to Eleme is unmotorable. The whole of the stretch of that road is unmotorable. That whole community there is no business is going on. So on the side of those two sides, you see stores, you see shops, you see this, but nobody is plying those roads again because of what? Bad road network. The economy of those people will be affected. How then do you boost economy? How then do you alleviate? Do you now eradicate poverty? The government will not be sharing money from house to house like what they are trying to do. It won't go anywhere. But the government should begin to take deliberate actions to develop our economy, to fix our roads, to increase the food, the livestock in our ranches, and then ensure that we have seedlings, give seedlings to farmers, encourage mechanized farming, and give grants, give loan to farmers, to fishermen, to those who are into agro, into fish farming. It should be supported. I mean bottom-top approach. But what the government seems to be doing is to sit in the top and share money, just share money at random. And this money is shared to those who are lucky to be on the list of what they now call poorest of the poor. Let me give you a typical example. During the COVID-19 incident that happened in this country, the government came up with palliative. Other foreign partners also supported the government by giving palliative for the COVID-19 to cushion the effect of the lockdown that we had. Government, officials that we are asked to share the palliative to doses and stash them at their private homes. And they could only share it to their political cronies and party faithfuls, party loyalists. So it became a party thing. My name was included among the poorest of the poor in my own community. When I was informed, I asked them why. They said, because they don't want wahala, so they have to include my name in that list. So it means that they look at me and say, if you don't put his name there, there will be issue. That shows you how faulty is the list. That how faulty is the procedure the government is using to share the palliative or share money or share what they are doing. But if the government put the money into building our roads, everybody will use it. Government put the money into building our health sector, building our public schools, boosting the agri sector, the farmers, the headers. Everybody will benefit from it. Government use the money and build refinery. We have petrol flowing, buying petrol very cheap. You will have the price of petrol will come down, and then that will also affect the price of foodstuff, because everything today is queuing behind petrol and transport. Once the cost of transport is high, the foodstuff price will increase, and everything will increase. House rent will increase. Workers will ask for increase of minimum wage. Doctors will be selling doing their treatment will be high. Everything in the country will just change. But if the government is able to fix just one thing, giving us our refineries to function and fixing our roads, I can tell you, life will be easier. That is the easiest way towards eradicating poverty in Nigeria. But what the government is doing today is playing politics, sharing money to their party members, to their cronies and followers in the name of palliatives, which is not what ought to be. I mean, what the government at the center is doing. But the government in Akwa Ibom, for instance, had a committee on palliative to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. That committee came up with lofty ideas on how to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, and that procedure is still ongoing. I saw a report from one state, I think Ogun State, Abiodun, where one man carried a bag of rice and was saying this bag of rice is meant for the entire estate, and was lamenting on a social media and was shouting. I've seen people being shared cups of rice in the name of palliative, and this tells you the mindset of our leaders. But my own view is that sharing of this food is not the best option. Sharing of money is not the best option, but let this money be used to develop our road, fix our refineries, give us CNG gas stations, and then fix our rural communities, provide security, farmer header clashes, tackle it. Then you will boost food supply, you will increase transport sector, you will also touch the lives of everyone, and then poverty would have been tactically moved away from Nigeria.
Sir, what are the factors contributing to this poverty?
I have just told you, lack of job. Have you gone to university to see how many students are in each department? Have you asked yourself, when they are done with their school, where will they be? They will come to the labor market. Have you seen industry, for instance, in Akwa Ibom, to accommodate all the students you have in UNIO? Let's even start with UNIO. You have UNIO, you have AXU, you have Akwa Poly, you have College of this, college of nursing, you have this. When they are out, each year, each of these schools are having graduates coming out, chucking them out to the society. Do you have enough industry to accommodate them? That is the point. And are you supporting private sector economy as a government? The answer is no. I'm running generator here. I believe your station is also running generator using diesel and fuel. Do you know how much it is to buy diesel, 50 liters to run your station? That is it. Some stations don't have good road network. The economy is not fair and friendly to the private sector economy. So that is where we are. So these are what contribute to poverty in Nigeria, because every day people are coming out from schools, becoming graduates, no work to do. The government is not employing. They have placed embargo on employment. If they are employing today, it's through secret. They are employing from the back door. You won't see anybody. You won't see. Normally, government they will place advert that they are doing social recruitment. But let me tell you, even when they place that advert now, they have already finished the employment. They are doing that to fulfill all righteousness, but they have done all the employment. So they are still employing from behind those through man no man. So the merit is not even there. So those who are in school today, when they are out from school, where will they be? That is where you now have poverty. So you could have a graduate going to selling in the market. During the ASU strike, I had a lecturer who was selling okra and pepper in the market because the ASU strike was ongoing. So you could have this. So poverty is in multidimensional. You cannot even trace. But the attitude of the government, because we are operating a mono economy where everybody depends on the crude oil price. Crude oil price affects everything, and because we are importing this crude oil, when dollar to naira increases, the price of crude oil will increase. When you go and import it, bring it to Nigeria, the sale at the fuel pump will increase. So this is what is multiplying the effect. So you will now have it to the end users. Today, fuel in Akwa Ibom, a liter is how much? 680. It's going to 1,000. It's good today. Before now, when I buy fuel of 5,000, it fuel my car. But today I buy fuel of 40,000. Yet it's not even up to half tank. And those who are selling to are also, they have their own underhand activities. Some they mix it with condensate. They mix the fuel with condensate, so that they can also make profit. Some they adjust their pump. So you have so much that is contributing to poverty. So the only way to stop poverty, to reduce now, because you can't stop it, is government should be committed towards poverty eradication by practically doing those things that are going to encourage poverty to be eradicated in this country. Otherwise, we'll be repeating the same cycle. And let me even tell you, by next year, last December, I said, I think on your station, that Christmas was postponed because Nigerians didn't celebrate Christmas. They were in their homes. Cost of food items was high. I took time to do, a report that covered the cost of every food item in the market. Today, a bag of cement is how much? 6,000, almost 6,200. Cement that we used to buy 120 and 220. Now is now 6,000 something. A bag of cement. To cook a pot of tomato stew, my sister can tell you how much is it. A pot of what is it called? A paint. This paint, what is it called? This small size paint. 1 liter of stew. 1 liter of paint container of stew. If you to cook a liter of it, today it goes for within 30 to 40,000, depending on what you are putting in it. So what are we saying? Cost of living is high. How much is the government paying? And everybody depends on the government. Those in the public, those in the public sector, the civil servant depend on the government. Those in the private sector depend on the government, and that is what it is. And the government is not doing anything than to keep, doing things that is enriching private individuals that are in government. Those who are within the corridors of government that are stealing and looting from government coffers. That is why poverty will be difficult to be pushed away, because corruption is one thing that has affected the minds of our leaders at all levels. Even at local government level, see a council chairman today is thinking of himself. The fear of tomorrow is there. A governor is thinking of it himself. President is thinking of himself. And nobody is thinking of the masses. Because the fear of tomorrow is always in the mind of those who are in the public offices.
Now, talking about the palliative side, besides palliative distribution, which other additional means do government put in place as to bring in poverty to a minimum period?
I have just told you now to create jobs. To create jobs. If the youth are engaged, government should create employment. Government should encourage private sector economy. Let there be industries. Everybody will not work in government. Everybody will not be in civil service. Let there be private sector economy driven. Let the state, let the country be driven with private sector. Let's begin to have industries splinking up from across entire country. In the state, let's have industries coming up. When we have industries, it will also help at those level to, to employ people at those level and take them out of the street. But today, when you go to the house of a politician, you will see youth who ought to be in the farm, youth who ought to be in the industry working, sitting down in the reception trying to see the politician who is either in his house or in his office. And so that is what it is. So the hands are not being useful again. Rather, they are using the hands to, go into crime. And they are being used as political talks. That's why in every elections, you will see those who are wearing t-shirt and polo. Today, where are they? They are picked from the communities, from everywhere. So that is just the point. So poverty can only be reduced if the government and our leaders are determined to reduce and then to kill poverty or push poverty away from Nigeria.
So lastly, sir, this Japa syndrome, most of the
What do you mean Japa syndrome?
like most of the youths, they believe that when they travel abroad, they can get a greener pasture. So sir, I want to ask, does it mean that we don't have a decent job here? Does it mean we can't make it in this country? Is it until we go to other countries before we could make it, sir?
Well, I was discussing with some medical doctors that are my friends, and I found out that 80% of doctors that are just out from school have leave the country, and nurses. What is the reason? The condition here is unfriendly. That is it. Before now, I was interviewed on violence against journalists, right? In some advanced country, journalists are seen as they are protected. They have an insurance scheme that covers a journalist, but in Nigeria you don't have it. So if journalists now choose to leave Nigeria and go to other country, what will you say? So it's simply that the condition here is not friendly, and you don't blame those who have opportunity to leave Japa based on you, because they cannot find greener pasture in their own fatherland. That's it. Because that popular saying that a prophet is not honored in his own community, but is honored in elsewhere. So when they travel out there, they are being honored. But right here, they are not honored. So I don't stop anybody from going out. I don't also the government is not even sincere in tackling the issue of job creation and ensuring that poverty is eradicated from Nigeria. So when anybody is leaving, it's up to you. But be warned that all is not well, even when you go there. Although people believe that even when you go there, you become a cleaner. You feel better than being a manager in your fatherland. But I think the reverse is the case. So my advice is that the government should be pragmatic and create employment in order to eradicate poverty in Nigeria. My pleasure.